Hey, what's up you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? So, as you know, Devstream 100 has came and went, and yes, my video is a little bit behind the times because I was in Canada. My cringy old ass was sitting in the audience for Devstream 100, experiencing the madness firsthand, and of course reading through all of the good and the bad comments from the Twitch chat. Some of them honestly cut me really deep, but not really. I couldn't give a fuck. It was one hell of an experience as well, let me tell you. I met some incredibly nice people from all of the staff at Digital Extremes, to Local Crazy, to the two Reddit guys who were on the dev stream as well, Darkstar Chimera and Kuon, who are really nice. I met a fellow Irishman who works in the offices at Digital Extremes, which was really nice to walk out and to get talking to him. I sampled craft beers with Scott after the dev stream. I sat in on prime time and swore at one of my Twitch moderators because fuck you, Dave. Now my voice probably sounds a little bit different because I believe I am of course coming down with a travel illness, fucking man flu. Now I'll be honest, I felt a little bit out of place because I was sitting in a room full of people who have made Warframe what it is, and being watched by 45,000 people across all platforms. Now, I decided at the last minute I would be okay with being on camera and sit beside Megan and answer questions, which is something I think that I will continue to second guess that choice forever, but it is what it is now, so we'll move on. Now, first up on the dev stream, we got to see our next new up-and-coming female Warframe called Cora, the Legend of Korra, our exalted whip, Kavat spawning Warframe that can switch between dealing puncture, impact or slash damage, which means everyone's going to be running with slash damage, right? Now, something that I don't believe was shown during the dev stream was how her appearance changes depending on the damage types, how she grows these big jagged spikes along her body which look absolutely fucking amazing. Now, I'm not sure or can't remember if these spikes can be shot out at enemies like porcupines or not, but the fact that she's going to be a Mistress of Pain type of Warframe running around with an exalted whip and a crazy kitty means that she's going to be a lot of fun to play with, and one that I genuinely can't wait to see how she turns out and how we're going to change her, how the community is going to build her and how good she's actually going to be. Especially if that slash damage that she deals is going to be as good as pretty much every other bit of slash damage in Warframe right now. Now, another topic that got brought up is one that's been brought up multiple times over the last few years, and it's one that honestly makes me shake my head or sigh or fucking cringe every time I hear it or it gets brought up, because I've seen all of the arguments both for and against Universal Vacuum now 100 times, and I've seen how toxic the community can get when this topic gets brought up, and I fucking honestly hate the topic of Universal Vacuum. And just before you say anything, I am one of the players who really wants a Universal Vacuum or a larger Universal Vacuum now, and I genuinely don't see any huge downsides to us being given one, but I do understand the arguments both for it and against it as well. Now, I've seen players accuse some of you guys of being lazy just because you want a larger vacuum in a game where picking resources for crafting items is kind of a requirement, so as you don't miss out on any of those resources if there's something that you really want to build or might need to build further down the line. I mean, these resources are needed to craft items and weapons. Instead of having you individually walk over all of these resources during a mission, instead of having fun shooting enemies and casting abilities. I mean, the game is not a walk over colourful item simulator, it's a I'm a space ninja shooting shit in the face while doing backflips and looking good while holding a giant fish in my hands simulator. Now, Scott has said that he did sneak in an innate 3-meter Universal Vacuum for our Warframes in a previous update and told no one about it. Only a few of the staff at Digital Extremes knew about this, so he is honestly trying to help you guys out. I don't see him as being the bad guy here, even though so many of you give him such a hard time about it. Now, it seems to be that very few players noticed that this Universal Vacuum was added into the game, and a lot of you are saying that's because most players were already running around with a Sentinel with a much larger vacuum, which is probably true. The argument that Universal Vacuum can't happen because they want us to have to make a choice between bringing a pet or bringing a Sentinel feels a little bit silly to me, because Vacuum in itself removes that decision from our hands and kind of forces us to have to use a Sentinel, or else you're going to spend a lot of your mission running around over items instead of, I guess, focusing on killing things and the mission at hand. Now, I run with my Kavats a lot more than I used to. You'll have seen Fake Taxi, you'll have seen Kill It With Fire in a lot of my recent videos. The benefits from the Smita Kavat, especially with its random resource buff, is huge, but Again, I've been playing the game for nearly 5 years, so I have mountains of resources, so I can afford to miss some on the ground and not run over them. It's not something that's going to, I guess, bother me a whole lot. New players or low mastery players won't have that choice and will be looking to collect as many resources as possible. So like I said, having to run over all of these is going to take time away or enjoyment away from actually playing the mission. But like I said, I absolutely fucking hate the topic of universal vacuum. Like I said, I've seen all of the arguments for and against. I've seen all of the hateful comments in the past, and it is like flogging a dead horse, so I'm just going to move on. Other topics in the dev stream were, of course, Operation Plague Star will be happening very soon. Something just took a huge shit on Earth, and with it we will be getting the Snipertron as a reward. Infested Zaw type of weaponry components will be added in as rewards as well, so hopefully they'll be a lot of fun. After I done my last Zaw video, the only real issue I had with Zaw weapons was that the range on polearms and staffs wasn't that good, whereas now that's been fixed, I think 5 hours after I made that video, so they are a lot better now. And maybe these infested type of Zaw components will give us a nice few different combinations and even more powerful weapons, but we won't know, I guess, until this Operation Plague Star actually hits. Now, we're going to be getting a new respec in focus points soon again. So focus 2.5, they're going to change how we can gain focus on a daily basis by maybe removing the daily focus cap completely, but adding a kind of a soft cap on focus gains by slowly reducing the amount of focus that you gain when you actively farm focus as opposed to passively farming it. So I guess if you're actively farming focus and you're running, say, a Darrow Stealth Exterminates over and over, then the first time you might get between 70 to 80,000 focus, whereas the next time could be between 50 and 60, next time could be 30 and 40, and so on. So they're basically going to reduce the amount you can get each mission if you're actively farming the same mission over and over and over again, because they don't want that to be a thing. But I believe Scott said something about maybe being able to break up that by running different missions in between your Adaro missions, and maybe you'll get more focus when you go back to Adaro after that. But they did mention possibly removing the daily cap on focus, which could be really fucking good, and you could get a lot of focus during the day. But we're going to have to wait and see how these changes get added in or how they play out whenever we actually get them into the game. Now, we were also shown the new two-handed katanas coming into Warframe as well. These things were fucking huge, and they're going to have their own stances, finishers, and of course completely new movesets as well. So if you like katanas, then hopefully you'll be happy at the sight of these huge fucking katanas. And we also got to see this huge meat mattress forehead, and I don't mean me. Fuck you. The next Eidolon is this feckin' huge board type of Eidolon that may or may not have the ability to fly away once you're fighting it, and will walk around on those huge, large, bladed arms. Now, seeing the Excalibur standing beside the leg of this Eidolon gives you a good idea as to the size of it and the sheer scale that this Eidolon is going to be, and how it's going to be for us to stand beside it while fighting it. Hopefully it has some kind of a screech to it or some kind of a ree while we're fighting it, but only time will tell as well. We also got to see the new Ghoul enemy types that's been added into the game, and these are going to climb out of the ground and run at you with their kind of spiked explosives strapped to their arms, and honestly they look freaky as all hell. I can imagine these things running at you at night and how the explosions are going to be as well. Another question that got asked during the dev stream, and it's one that's been asked a lot in comment section of my videos and of course in streams as well, is when will the Stalker's Acolytes be returning to Warframe? And apparently that's going to happen in December, so get ready to farm their mods again. Whether you want to keep their mods or sell them, entirely up to you. They also mentioned raids. It was a question I asked, whether new raids will be added into Warframe in a future date or not, and apparently raids is something that they're not looking to add anymore, which I guess you might see that as a good thing or a bad thing depending on whether you actually run the raids right now for any of those arcanes or not. Honestly, I don't run the raids, I don't find them enjoyable, so I'm genuinely not really that bothered about new raids being added into the game or not. I would much prefer big ass bosses to fight like some of these Eidolons, because I truly enjoy actually fighting them. I mean, look, Devstream 100 was 2 hours long, and if I spend all of my time in this video going over every little detail, then this video is going to be insanely long as well. So the link to the full Devstream is in this video's description. Make sure and go over and check it out. Timestamp guy will be in the comment section, of course, to direct you towards everything you need to know about the actual Devstream. I will be back to normal this week with regards to videos, and of course back to streaming maybe 3 times or 4 times a week as well. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.
Watching the insanity, obviously huge
there it
thank
is.
you to Tactical
I missed
Potato
it.
and Co.
Sorry, good try.
Not one F-bomb from Potato. I'm disappointed. Yes, he did.
You were asking me to do that.
No.
Put him on the spot.
No. Thanks so much for watching.
Fuck you, Dave.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Megan, for saving the database today. Sorry for ruining the database.